some of you, I'm sure, have probably seen the big red Folgers coffee can on the table back there in the shop. And oftentimes it is full and overflowing with brightly colored round objects with a stick through them that have a lot of gewgaws on them. And I know some people have said, wow, those look neat. You know, why are there so many? What do you do with them? And say, well, I'd like to learn how to make those. Well, we're going to have all those questions answered tonight. We went out to the source and looked high and low, and we found the top guy. Okay, this guy is an accomplished turner. He's a long-standing member and teacher here at KCWT. Is a Hall of Fame award recipient and an outstanding philanthropist. He has almost developed what's kind of like almost a cult-like following with the top turner group. This is really interesting. And I don't know, I was trying to ask, how many top guys are there? I see 5, 6 shirts, but anyway, I'm sure we'll get those answered. Okay. Anyway, without any further ado, with his own spin on turning tops, help me make welcome Mr. Jerry Darter. Take it away.
Thank you, Mike. Wow, what an introduction. Let me find my notes, and the reason I need to find them is because I need them. I think we were here probably 2, maybe 3 years ago, something like that. So basically, we may have some of the same stuff that we had back then, but what I'm counting on is there's a lot of new members here for one thing, and some of the rest of you are about as old as I am. And quite frankly, I'm lucky if I remember what I had for breakfast this morning. So I'm thinking maybe this may all be new to you right now, again. A little bit of the history of the Top Turner group. We've really, in the club, turned tops for a number of years, probably 15, maybe 20 years. Now, I think the very first effort was as a group was out at Deanna Rose when Frank Novich was our president and Dick Woodhouse was sort of our organizer. And I think Dick got us the appointment or the spot at the Deanna. That's right. We were up on a stage at the Red Barn out at Deanna Rose, and that probably was 20 years ago. Yeah. And the first year we were out there, we just turned a variety of things. But the second year, the tops were such a hit with the kids that all we did was turn tops from starting the second year out at Deanna Rose. And I know I mentioned this to you guys and ladies when Frank Novich was in here to receive his award back during the holidays. But he, that first year we were out there, and really every year he was president, Frank would actually cut, drill, and glue up all the top blanks for us. And not only did he do that, but he would then mount them on his lathe, and he would turn these things round for us to give us just a little bit of an assist. So, I mean, that was Frank Novich, and the award we gave him at the Christmas celebration was well-deserved, and I know he appreciated that. I think they did. Yes, they did. The way it actually worked out there, the kids would, I think they bought them for a couple of bucks or a buck or something like that. The kids did, $1. And then there were some volunteers from Deanna Rose themselves, and sitting at some tables over there, the kids got an opportunity to do their own decorating. And yes, that's right. Everything that we made, and I think we sold them each year we were out there actually. We were probably out there maybe 10 years, maybe something like that. Anyway, they got that money for the operation of Deanna Rose. And, my background is in city government, in Parks and Recreation, actually, and I think Deanna Rose is an arm of Overland Park Parks and Recreation. So I can appreciate the quality of that facility out there, and their volunteers and their staff and so forth. It's extremely well ran. They don't have the fall festival anymore, so we're no longer out there, but probably will be back at some point in time. I think we all, the guys in the Top Turners group, the top guys, as Sean has dubbed us, we all got here a little bit different ways. Myself, I worked in city government, so I'm no stranger to the spin. In fact, at one point in time, I was pretty good at the spin. The top guys, Virgil Boyd. Virgil, hold up your hand. Virgil is one of our original members, goes back to the very beginning of it. Ed Maxwell, who's not here this evening, but again, one of our original members. David Burks over here, a longtime top turner for us. Larry Dice, and another longtime top turner. Mike Erickson, I'm going to go ahead and introduce him. we're going nose to nose here in a little bit, you know. But he's a longtime top turner, and he's a friend, except tonight he's not a friend. Sean McMahon, back there. Sean is a longtime top turner, and he's also our publicist. Phil Royer. Phil is newer to the group, but he's a top turning machine, I'll tell you for sure. Effie Camara couldn't be here this evening, but he's our newest member. And then myself, Jerry Darter. Some of you probably are wondering, well, how could I get so lucky as to be one of the top guys? And I'm going to tell you the kind of things we're looking for when we're going to start a new process. Actually, we used to just ask that you volunteer, raise your hand, and see us, and we'd try to get together. But now we're going to have you got to see Virgil Boyd over here pick up an application and make application to be in the Top Turners group. I'm not real hopeful, but it might be worth your time. The kind of things we're looking for is 4 or 5 things here. Can you think and act like a 5-year-old? Critical. Can you use a dustpan and a broom and be happy about it? Probably one of the more important things is, are you a good listener? Right now, we have no good listeners. And then the last thing is, can you turn a top? And probably that's the least important of all this criteria. So when you make application to Virgil, at least you know the kinds of things that we're looking for. Okay, what are we going to do this evening? Well, we all turn tops. We all do them for a variety of things. We all approach it somewhat similarly. We all use a lathe. But really everybody's different. So we're going to have 3 teams of 2 turners each, 3 teams. And they're each going to come up and they're going to tell you, I don't know what they're going to tell you, but they're going to tell you something about their top turning. And then the last one is Mike and I, and I don't know, it was probably 2 months ago at the conclusion of our meeting here. Jack was playing dueling banjos over there. And I walk up to Mike after the meeting and he says, what was it you said? You're going, I think he said, you're going down. I said, say what? He said again, you're going down. I immediately accepted him because you don't want to leave something like that hanging for any length of time at all. And so Mike and I are the the last duo and for a throwdown here. I'm not real nervous about that, but I have seen him practicing, and he's pretty darn good, actually. So, I'm not completely relaxed. Okay. All right, safety. I do want to be serious about this for just a little bit. We're turning these tops. Adults take them. Really, our customer base is somewhere between 3 years old and maybe about 13. And then I've told you all this. Then there's this skip up to about age 70, and then it seems like the customer base goes on till the end of time. But I'm talking about the lower end of that, the younger guys. The criteria that I have come up with, and darn it, I don't have. It's on that table in there, that little glass thing with a. What we have in there is something that makes this a lot simpler, but the basic criteria, as I understand it, for 3 years old and younger, and apparently that's the age that has a tendency to try to swallow things, 1.5 inches in diameter and are 2 inches in length. If it meets one of those criteria, then apparently it would be safe for a 3-year-old to play with. And yes, now I found this on the internet. The internet's wonderful. So if it fits down in here and no part of it sticks out, it's not safe for a 3-year-old. If it fits down in there, it's smaller than 1.25 inches, but it sticks up above the rim, then according to the criteria that I saw, it would be safe for a 3-year-old to play with. And I think, even though we might not be giving our tops to someone that young, who knows, but the older sibling may leave it laying around, or it may be regifted, or that kind of thing. For the tops that I turn, I make certain that they're not going to fit down in there. So that's safe for a 3-year-old. To me, that's an important thing. When I first started out gluing these top blanks up, here's one my dog Moose turned. He goes to the shop with me every day, and really we're up there for several hours together, and he got a little bored one day. Huh? Well, it looks a lot like it. I used to because it was fast, what I do in my shop is I glue up tomorrow's production today. And I used to use the CA glue. I became kind of concerned about it, honestly. My shop is small. Probably a lot of y'all work in small spaces. And as you well know, the odor from the CA and the accelerator and so forth can be a little bit overwhelming. I've done this for years and kind of got to the point where if I breathe deep, I kind of got a tickle. And I thought, well, I wonder, So I quit using it, and I started using something that Woodcraft sells. You can get it, I think, anywhere. It's called Type Bond 3. Absolutely no odor to it at all. And it appears to work extremely well. So, if you're going to be doing any number of these, I think how you glue them up makes a difference as far as your health is concerned. And I would use something other than the CA glue. The other thing is some of the more exotic woods, the more oily woods people are allergic to. But if you stick with something like hard maple, cherry, those kinds of domestic woods, I don't think you're going to have any problem. Avoid at all costs using poison ivy. That's not a good idea. Poison oak. I think it's the same thing, isn't it? I don't know. Yeah, stay away from those. We don't know, but stay away from them. All right, the tops on the table here are things that, and when the other guys come up, they'll explain theirs. But these are examples of what we make for the Ronald McDonald House Charities that they distribute to the children down there. Everybody in the group, everybody in the Top Guys group that I had introduced has a slight variation of basically the same top, but you can pick them out. Well, I had one of Phil Royer's here a little bit ago. I don't see it now. Isn't that amazing? Oh, here we go. Phil Royer, David Burks, myself. I have a tendency to use NFL team colors because I figure they've hired a consultant for high prices. And they do kind of go together. Also, I do college football teams, and that can be kind of fun. This is a platform that I saw on the internet, actually. A guy down at Denton, Texas, was showing how to turn tippy tops, which is this type of top. It starts out turning on this end, and before the turn is over, and this is Sean, so I'm not going to spin it because I don't know what might happen. But you can kind of have fun with these things if it'll work. So it starts out on that end, and it almost got up there. So there you go, you know. And you can make up some sort of baloney story with them, you know. I mean, I don't know why I brought this. I live in Missouri. But the Missouri colors start spinning on top, and before it's all over with this particular top, the KU colors end up spinning on top. And here's why I brought it, because I knew Dale was coming, and there's no bigger fan of KU sports than Dale is. But I don't know, once you start turning tops, you start seeing tops in about everything that you do. And I brought some examples of that. There's a TV ad now on TV. Humpty Dumpty's laying up in the ER room. He's all cracked and bandaged and so forth, and he's wondering if his injury expenses are tax deductible. And I think one of the tax companies is there to assure him that it is. But you see that, and an egg can be a top. And so, you know, you have a Humpty Dumpty top. I'm not sure. Maybe you can see that. I don't think you can see. Yeah, you can kind of even see the sutures. With a heavy top like this, you're better off to have a little bit of a launcher for it. If we let that spin as long as it would spin, we'd probably be about break time before it quit. But then, you know, Easter's coming up, so egg tops are big, and you know, we won't go to the trouble to spin it. Other holidays, Halloween, a witch top. Well, did you see that? Usually that works. We'll give that another try. There we go. So there's a Halloween top. One top that Sean and I worked on last year, it was a joint venture, was again an egg top. But if you pull the string here, this top will actually fly off and fly up, what, Sean, would you say 30 feet in the air and probably 20 or 25 feet on out there. And I looked at that and I said, you know, that's not an inside toy. Sean looked at this and he says, I think I can do this inside. So I'm going to let him tell you later on what happened. But this is an outside toy. In some neighborhoods, yes, yeah. You also don't want to fly very many times because it has the tendency to lose the propellers, and you get tired of putting those back on. Okay. We're getting just about ready to start here. And I think I'm going to wait until we get to the throwdown part to announce the rules and regulations for that. Yeah. So we'll hold that. Our first two guys are Larry, Dice, and Phil. So if you guys want to come on up and tell the group all about your tops, turn a top, then we'll get the next team up.
Well, the best thing about learning how to be a top turner is being a sponge. Because you take all this information you get from these guys here and you kind of morph it into your own style. Here recently, Jerry's been playing with the texturing and the, what do you call that, the puff paint? Is that fabric paint? And he's been kind of showing me how. And it's working really. Yeah, sometimes it'll get a little bit of angle to it, but you know, through his wealth of knowledge, he's gotten me to get it straightened back out. But if you completely botch it up, you just find somebody in the top or the top club, and you kind of make it look like theirs. So when it's in the bucket, they think it's theirs. And you know, just a little bit of different color textures, and you can see the spiral there. That's one of Jerry's trademarks there. That one there kind of went haywire, so I made it look like Jerry's. But that's what mine is. I normally use the chatter tool, but Jerry's got, that Wagner that we have been trying here in the last few months or so. And then Phil's got you use a Sorby, and that's what we're going to do tonight. Phil, do you want to tell them a little bit about yours?
As far as the Sorby, the normal Sorby texturing tool works like this. It's got this gear that goes this way. But the way I wanted to do the texturing, I wanted it oriented differently. So I took one of them, and this is the bigger one. It's got a ball bearing in it, and made it so that I can get into the top and work the edges better. And I think I get a little different texture that I like. The other thing I might do different than some of the other people is I use this collet chuck, which is a knockoff of the Beal chuck, and I had it, and it works well for me for tops. And the other thing I do on the tailstock end is I turn a little taper down here, and this is, I think they call it a mandrel saver. People use it for turning pins. So if the things wobble a little bit, I turn the point of it to true it up, and then put it in there, and it turns true for me. And now it's introduced as one of the top guys. I'm not really sure I'm a top guy, although I do play one in my basement shop at home.
You're a top guy.
Okay. And then as far as turning them fast, I mean, we pay all this money. Why shouldn't we take our time and enjoy it? So whether I turn one in 3 minutes or take 20, 30 minutes, it's all the same. It's like getting a root canal. You go to the dentist, you get your money when the guy does it fast, or when he takes an hour and a half in there with those little things working on your mouth. So it's all a matter of perspective. So I guess we're ready to turn. What?
I'll take the fast.
Yeah.
Dale, if you got your hearing aids in, when I go to use that, you might want to. You might want to turn them off. Anybody else?
And I've got the chatter tool. I've got the
guitar at that age. And I learned to play it. I really did, man. Whether I make mistakes or not, you probably won't notice it anyway. It's a dadgum fast. But I'd like to do it in remembrance of Clayton Moore, my first Western hero, and Jay Silverhill. See, they were really something else. Hi-oh, Silver, away! Get 'em up, Scout!
Good job, guys. It did spin. They both spun. That's great. We're good at the spin. Okay, our next two turners are Sean McMahon and David Burks. While they're getting ready, I might show you another top we had up here. Just your basic magic wand. It doesn't have any magic right now. There's a little bit of magic.
For God's sake, Jack, put a waltz on.
Did you want to tell him about the only person to ever have one returned?
Oh, the only person to ever have a top returned after it was purchased? We were down at the Urban Woodsman, and Jerry sold this kid a top, and we were just getting ready to leave, and he came back. He says, "This is not working really well." He'd been playing with it for 2 hours, and he wanted to take a new one home to his brother, so Jerry gave him a new one. Sometimes you can make big ones, and you need a launcher. That's this. This was kind of my version of the egg. This is another version of the egg. This, to my knowledge, is the only double-ended top in existence. It's got a point on both ends, and it'll spin both ways. It uses a different kind of a launcher. And these are a couple of tops that I saw on the cover of a British wood-turning magazine, and I made them, and they're supposed to spin with this, and I haven't got them to do it yet, but I'm working on it. One of the things I want to tell you, they'll tell you that when you get the rod, you want to get a birch rod, okay? And I made a mistake one time and wasn't paying much attention to what I was getting, and I got some poplar rods. And I made some top blanks out of them, and they're in the bag from which I selected this. So I just call it my bag of surprises. Because if this is a birch rod, we'll know it right away. It'll just disintegrate, and then you put another one in there. So when they say get birch dowels, get a birch dowel. Don't mess with them. And mine's going to start off round because I use baseball bats or baseball bat cutoffs, which are already round, and they're easier to find the center on. Oh, Jerry mentioned about the fly one. Well, see, he launches his up into the air. I thought that when we were talking about it, it had to spin on the ground and then go up. So that's how I made mine, and I made mine with blades that had variable pitch. They were pressed in, and I thought in the family room I would give it a try, so I set it up, turned it, and the blades came out and busted the hell out of the TV. So my wife's rule is I can't play with my toys in the house anymore.
He said everything already. I'm going to try to turn a hedge top. Hedge is a little harder, and even with them dowels, they even break sometimes. But instead of doing a painted top, I'm going to do a hedge top. Thank you.
Well, I knew you had a raspy voice.
It's allergy.
Allergy.
Yeah. Yeah.
this back on again. The challenge for next month is 5 hand-turn tops off the lathe for the Ronald McDonald House project. So if you want to participate in the challenge, 5 tops. Did it work? All right, okay. Thanks, guys. That was great. All right, Mr. Erickson. You know, when he did this 2 months ago, initially I was kind of shocked, really. I mean, he's my student. I've taught him everything I know, and he challenges me. But the more I thought about it, you know, I couldn't really be.
Hey, okay. Some of you, I'm sure, have probably seen the big red Folgers coffee can on the table back there in the shop. And oftentimes it is full and overflowing with brightly colored round objects with a stick through them that have a lot of gewgaws on them. And I know some people have said, wow, those look neat. You know, why are there so many? What do you do with them? And say, well, I'd like to learn how to make those. Well, we're going to have all those questions answered tonight. We went out to the source and looked high and low, and we found the top guy. Okay, this guy is an accomplished turner. He's a long-standing member and teacher here at KCWT. Is a Hall of Fame award recipient and an outstanding philanthropist. He has almost developed what's kind of like almost a cult-like following with the Top Turner group. This is really interesting. And I don't know, I was trying to ask, how many top guys are there? I see 5, 6 shirts, but anyway, I'm sure we'll get those answered. Okay. Anyway, without any further ado, with his own spin on turning tops, help me make welcome Mr. Jerry Darter. Take it away.
Thank you, Mike. Wow, what an introduction. Let me find my notes, and the reason I need to find them is because I need them. I think we were here probably 2, maybe 3 years ago, something like that. So basically, we may have some of the same stuff that we had back then, but what I'm counting on is there's a lot of new members here for one thing, and some of the rest of you are about as old as I am. And quite frankly, I'm lucky if I remember what I had for breakfast this morning. So I'm thinking maybe this may all be new to you right now, again. A little bit of the history of the Top Turner group. We've really, in the club, turned tops for a number of years, probably 15, maybe 20 years. Now, I think the very first effort was as a group was out at Deanna Rose when Frank Novich was our president and Dick Woodhouse was sort of our organizer. And I think Dick got us the appointment or the spot at the Deanna. They both are great. They last a long, long time. I use this because it's cheaper.
Yeah, I use that because you told me to. Well, a 3/8-inch spindle gouge, I think everybody's seen. That's this tool here. This was my top turning tool, but my top fell off one day. I think my grandkids were playing with it or something. So, you know, a few months ago when Ashley was here, and everybody knows how much I enjoy watching Ashley, she was showing us her fine work about, you know, her little seashells and all the intricate work she does with her bowl gouge. Remember that, Jerry? Okay. I don't remember what he had for breakfast. But anyway, so I've been kind of practicing. So tonight I'm going to be.
Hey. Okay. Some of you, I'm sure, have probably seen the big red Folgers coffee can on the table back there in the shop. and oftentimes it is full and overflowing with brightly colored round objects with a stick through them that have a lot of gewgaws on them. And I know some people have said, wow, those look neat. You know, why are there so many? What do you do with them? And say, well, I'd like to learn how to make those. Well, we're going to have all those questions answered tonight. We went out to the source and looked high and low, and we found the top guy. Okay, this guy is an accomplished turner. He's a long-standing member and teacher here at KCWT. Is a Hall of Fame award recipient and an outstanding philanthropist. He has almost developed what's kind of like almost a cult-like following with the top turner group. This is really interesting. And I don't know, I was trying to ask, how many top guys are there? I see 5, 6 shirts, but anyway, I'm sure we'll get those answered. Okay. Anyway, without any further ado, with his own spin on turning tops, help me make welcome Mr. Jerry Darter. Take it away.
Thank you, Mike. Wow, what an introduction. Let me find my notes, and the reason I need to find them is because I need them. I think we were here probably 2, maybe 3 years ago, something like that. So basically, we may have some of the same stuff that we had back then, but what I'm counting on is there's a lot of new members here for one thing, and some of the rest of you are about as old as I am. And quite frankly, I'm lucky if I remember what I had for breakfast this morning. So I'm thinking maybe this may all be new to you right now, again. A little bit of the history of the Top Turner group. We've really, in the club, turned tops for a number of years, probably 15, maybe 20 years. And I think the very first effort was as a group was out at Deanna Rose when Frank Novich was our president and Dick Woodhouse was sort of our organizer. And I think Dick got us the appointment or the spot at the Deanna.
Well, he's old. And so if you're going to get one like this, instead of using the collet chuck like Phil has, and those collet chucks are great, but if you're going to get one, you can get it from Craft Supply, and it has a round interior so that when you tighten it up, you've got the insides stay round and grab the dowel. It doesn't pinch it. You'll notice Jerry's also using a very slim tool rest. That's the top guy's tool rest. Right, yeah. He's sanding, Mike. You better watch out. Oh, right. And he's using the Elf to texture his top. Ron Brown's best, it's the Elf knockoff. But it works, right? Now some guys will texture before they color. Other people will color and then texture. It works either way. Birch, 3/8. And for those of you who are interested in what Mike was referring to, actually is 4040 sharp on the bull gouge. We just, when she was here, we bought her DVD on how she makes the finials for the sea urchin ornaments and so on. And she talks on that about how to sharpen, do the 4040 sharpening. And it's amazing how it works. I've done the 4040 on my bowl gouges, and I also have done it on my spindle gouges, and it's great. Oak is good. Yeah.
Let's suppose that you're writing a really important email to a colleague.
Did they win?
Or a post on Facebook that all your friends will see.
No, he's still got it attached to the lathe.
Here's a Virgil Boyd invention. At home, I just use a T-shirt over my lathe and let the rest of it go. So up the wall behind my lathe, I've got this multicolored rainbow of dots down across the ceiling and down across the floor. Not as much on the floor because I use it.
Now we do have back in the shop the top turning special tool.
This is the Darter 1000. No, 5000.
So if you see this hanging around the shop, you know what it's for. Yeah, big tops. He's coming up on his final thing here. Mike, I just thought I'd let you know. There you go. Yep. Oh, Jerry's is off the lathe. Yeah. Yeah, he's working. Well, it's quality work. It's amazing how he's using that boulder.
9 o'clock. All right. We just have one other thing to do.
What's that?
That's for me to collect my, well, I'm going to give you the attractiveness points.
Oh, you are?
Putting all my eggs in the length of spin.
Okay.
You ready?
No.
No?
Where are we going to spin it at? Here in the bowl?
Well, that's where I'm going to spin. I don't know
Okay.
where you're going to spin. Don't bump into me now.
You want? I start on the edge.
Thank you, and that completes our program. If there's any questions, hold them, I guess. Huh? It's 9 o'clock.
Oh, well, I did bring one thing to show and tell, and this is my gluing block. So I put the dowels in here, and I put the blank on it. I use CA glue. That's the way that Ed told me to do it, so I use CA.
Okay.